Today we are happy to announce some changes to the server. The original concept of the server was to introduce a persistent style of play around a dynamic campaign that was anchored in the early to mid Cold War era. And while we have been very successful with that, we have also come to realize that our server has evolved from just Enigma's Cold War server to really becoming the main Cold War server, as we are the place where people can play Cold War at any hour of the day with a stable population. With this additional responsibility, we want to broaden ourselves out a bit to cover a wide area of the Cold War. This video goes over those plans and explains the recent changes to the campaigns, so this video will keep you in the loop. If this is your first time here, this channel focuses on multiplayer sim gameplay, so if you're into that, please subscribe. The first thing we will cover will be our campaign. We currently have 2 campaigns in rotation, and with the introduction of the F4, we will be adding a 3rd campaign into the rotation, which will be Persian Gulf. Just so everyone is on the same page, we always intended to have 3 different scenarios, and basically have been running 3 scenarios squished into 2 missions. This is going to change. Caucasus is our early Cold War scenario, and the hope is for it to stay rooted in the 1960s era. This means that we will avoid precision-guided munitions and push people toward using unguided rocket, iron bombs, and the earliest of air-to-air missiles. As more modules come out, like the F-100 and the MiG-17, this campaign will anchor around the earlier jets. The other jets like the F-5, MiG-21, Mirage, Viggen, and the F-4 will still be present, but the Sabres, Huns, MiG-15, 17, and MiG-19 will be the main focus. The next campaign is Syria, which is focused more on the 1970s. In this scenario, we'll really anchor around the AIM-9P type missiles and start to introduce some precision-guided munitions, like the earlier Mavericks and laser-guided rockets. The air-to-air game will still be rear aspect, but the missiles will be much more capable, like the R-13 and the AIM-9P. Additionally, this will also have some of the earlier Fox 1 missiles like the R3R and the early Sparrows. This is the mission where the F4, F5, Viggen, MiG-21, and Mirage will be the main focus. Additionally, heavier air-to-ground planes like the A-10 and Frogfoot are present. If you have been playing Cold War for a long time in the DCS community, this mission is basically what people typically expect in the Cold War scene. This campaign will be our bread and butter. The next campaign, and our newest one, is Persian Gulf. This will be our most advanced campaign scenario, and the focus here will really be on the semi to all aspect missiles, as well as some of the earlier Fox 1 missiles. The flight times on this mission is slightly longer, and it is reflective of the more capable planes and missiles that are present on this mission. Eventually, when we get the MiG-23, we will have to find out a way to introduce it into this mission, or we will have to introduce a 4th campaign. The missiles on this mission will be the R-60s, AIM-9P3s, and other early Sparrows. The focus of this mission is the same as Syria, which is the more advanced Gen 3 planes. To make things really obvious, this is how things should look like between all the campaigns. In general, our ambition is to make sure that each module gets its time to shine. This process will take some time, but we are already starting it as we are preparing the server now for our 3rd scenario. As more modules come out, the Cold War era will get more fleshed out, and we can make each campaign feel more distinct. Our server has always been really inspired from the very curated and sophisticated IL-2 servers, and we have always tried to set a vibe where the planes in the mission all feel cohesive. In short, not every server has to have the Hornet, and we think that us staying true to this makes the server unique and compelling. The next big thing we want to talk about is how we want to broaden ourselves to cover more areas of the Cold War. Our hope is that campaigns generally last around a week, and right now campaigns end and immediately go into the next one. Instead, what we will be doing is introducing intermissions between each campaign. These intermission missions are small bite-sized missions that only last from 4 to 24 hours. These missions are going to be very reminiscent of Alpenwolf's mission, which a lot of us were very fond of. While I'm really happy that it is considered viable to be able to play Cold War at any hour in the day now, I am now aware that with DCS multiplayer numbers and the majority of the player base being focused on modern, that there just aren't many Cold War servers. So we want to use the size of our community to be able to power interesting scenarios that don't get the time of day in the rest of the community. These missions will have no impact on the overall campaign. The purpose of these is to spice things up, get a palate cleanser, between our campaigns and to introduce some more planes. To give you an idea of what missions we will have, here is the starting set that we have. Number 1, PVO, which we are all familiar with. It's an escort mission where blue has to escort bombers while red has to intercept. This is a 24-hour long mission. Number 2, 1982 Lebanon War. This is a mission where blue has to strike Damascus and Beirut using F4s, F-16s, and A4s, while red defends with their SAM sites, MiG-21s and MiG-19s. Kasab Invasion, which is a similar mission to PVO, but it's red escorting a naval invasion against the UAE. Lastly, we will be experimenting with adding new maps like Sinai. There will be a mission where blue has to strike the red SAM sites along the Suez. Please note that we are not going to be actively supporting any new paid maps outside of the main 3, Caucasus, PG, and Syria. We are going to test introducing one intermission mission that is set on Sinai. If you are cash strapped and are a fan of the server, I would not recommend buying this. We are going to test this and see what population is like. If it goes well, we will talk about it. If it doesn't, we will just stay on our 3. My mindset on the paid maps, aka the paywalls, is that it's not really great for multiplayer because they fragment the community. I really wish servers could buy a map license and make it available for anyone to play on the server. With that said, some players advocate for the use of these newer maps. I personally do not think that these maps outside of our main focus will be a hit because most players do not own these maps, and I see the stats of who plays what maps. With that said, we will try it once and see how it goes. The last thing about these intermissions is that we will try to make some other ones like Korea and helicopter only ones, but these will come over time. Our hope is that we have a good little rotation of missions, and over time, and based on community feedback, shape them up where we all look forward to playing these alongside our campaign. Again, these are for flavor. The main focus is the campaign, but these will sit between the campaigns as a palate cleanser. 95% plus of the time of the server will be on the campaigns. Let me know what you guys think. If you would like to support, then please subscribe, as this channel acts as a mouthpiece for the server. Thanks and have a good one.
Yeah.